Welcome everyone, and thank you so much for joining our session today. Fostering a culture of well-being and a caring environment is at the very heart of the work that we do here at Educare Central Maine. We've been able to experience many successes that we would like to share with you. Our hope is that you will take away ideas and maybe some inspiration to support the work that you do each day. We'd like to introduce ourselves. My name is Tammy Davis, and I am an early childhood coach and supervisor at Educare Central Maine. I have a true passion for providing a supportive and mindful work environment and a healthy atmosphere. I've been in the field a little over 30 years now and look forward to many more. And I will pass it to my colleague, Amanda.
Hi everyone, I'm Amanda Jandro. I am a whole family coach that supports Educare and my community. And I have a passion for the social emotional well-being for children, families, and staff.
Thanks, Amanda. So fostering a culture of well-being begins with leadership and intentionality. At Educare Central Maine, our leadership team, which is comprised of our director, our family services staff team, and our education coach supervisor teams, are part of what that leadership is for us. So as a team, we have dedicated time to reflect, plan, and prepare for multiple layers of support. As leaders, we know that modeling positivity and creating a safe and welcoming environment is at the heart of our work. As we move through our presentation, we will review the 3 layers of support that we focused on intentionally: staff, children, and families. So we'll start with staff. At Educare Central Maine, we implement the conscious discipline curriculum, and we also focus on mindfulness. Through this lens, we plan strategies to promote a sense of school unity and wellness. We held monthly connections as leaders, reflected, as I mentioned before, discussed staff needs, trends, and really what the pulse was of the vibe in our building and how we could make sure that we kept that as positive as possible. From there, we planned and prepared for opportunities for staff to connect, engage with one another, and really appreciate one another, because we know that by showing gratitude, that helps us focus on the positive. So on the screen, you'll see some examples of how we have done that. So you'll see it says conscious discipline for staff. So while that is a curriculum that is also intended for the classroom, it is an adult first model, and some of the same strategies and structures are embedded within our daily work at Educare as well. So we have things like our noticing board, which is non-judgmental ways for us to say that we notice the great work that people are doing. We have our wish well for staff, which is where we can either put ourselves in the heart, or we can place others in the heart who may be having a rough day or they're out of work, and we just want to send them some intentional well wishes and keep our feel of unity going. And then we also have our celebration station, so that we know that how important celebrating even the smallest accomplishments are, especially during these past couple of years where things have been a little extra trying. So those are some of the things that we've put in place. And we have biweekly coffee bars and some fun team challenges that we've taken place in, and silly team photos. So you'll see some pictures of what that looked like as well. And this is just a continuation of some of those things. We do a secret pal program to spread some kindness. We do the Employee of the Week parking spot, which is fun. So, and that's self-nominated by colleagues. So we're really fostering that thought process of who really inspires me and who is going above and beyond to sort of make sure that their days and their children and their families are supported. So that's been wonderful. And actually the team photo challenge that you saw the picture of, we use that as whoever won parking for the week. So that was a really cool way for us to celebrate them. We do national days of, which are fairly simple to plan and easy to plan ahead. Monthly mindful tokens, which sometimes are little gifts or just thoughtful notes of gratitude. And then of course, mental health consultant time we partner with. So we also offer that to our teams to connect, or as individuals if they need to, just as one more layer of support. And then of course, the biggest one, which over these past few years I know was real for everybody, was staffing shortages, was coverage. We really made sure that we were intentional to carve out time and do extra check-ins. So if staff were needing breaks or they were short-staffed, where we still wanted them to be able to go to meetings and have them self-supported, we were willing to jump in and help out with that. Now I'm going to pass it over to Amanda, and she'll explain a little bit more about conscious discipline from the children's lens.
So with conscious discipline in the classrooms, we have implemented a lot of the structures to help support wellness and well-being and resiliency, as well as emotional awareness in all of our classrooms. This services any child from 6 weeks old all the way up through the end of pre-K at 5. So a lot of the structures you saw that we did for staff, such as the Wish Well board, are activities that are done in the classroom. And this really promotes that school family lens for the child, that we're all in this together, we're all here to support each other. And sometimes we all have really bad days, and teaches us how to work through that and support each other in that sense of unity that the curriculum can really provide. We do a lot with the school family, which would provide photos of friends and family. And that includes anyone from in the classroom, such as teaching staff or aides, children, all the way to maintenance staff and kitchen, and even people at like the front desk where they see every day, but they may not have those interactions with. And that really helps build that sense of community in our school. We've also done activities such as beading friendship bracelets and wrapping them with tissue paper. And they were able to deliver and exchange these with different staff in the building to help build that connection with those people they may not see every day. We chose conscious discipline as it really touches on the brain-based and is research-backed with their strategies. We teach children, staff, and families about their survival state, their emotional state, and their executive states to help them through these experiences, tough times, and get to their problem-solving state.
Thanks, Amanda. So speaking of intentionality, now that you've gotten a little overview of conscious discipline, and that was a very brief overview, but that should give you sort of a capture of how we use that lens to plan for children. So we specifically plan a 5-week startup curriculum for our classrooms, and we integrate the feelings buddy portion of conscious discipline, which talks a lot about emotional regulation, how to identify feelings, utilizing the safe place in the classroom. We also worked really hard as a team and along with teachers, to come up with a 5-week rollout grid of activities that would support the feelings-based curriculum, but also intertwine with mindfulness. So we had learned a lot about mindfulness and how teaching children through the 5 senses really increases their awareness of themselves, helps them explore surroundings, and makes them really connected and attuned to their needs. So you'll see on the right how we put some specific activities related to each of the senses. And we really talked a lot about how are we feeling, and then how do we know that? So that's the lenses that we use to plan for our children. And the intentional startup has been really successful. We've done it for a couple of years now, and that really has led to some great ability for teachers to just focus on relationship building, because a lot of the work is prepared for them ahead of time and in advance. So that was really critical, that they're not having to plan separately. They can still interchange things if they have other ideas, but we provide the materials for them and the ideas so that they can really focus on the children and just being in the moment with them, which is what conscious discipline requires us to be really able to settle and engage and connect. So after that 5-week startup, conscious discipline doesn't end there. It's actually a tool and strategies and rituals that we use every single day that are implemented in the classroom setting. Some of those being the Brain Smart Start, which is really activities that engage, unite, disengage, connect, unite, and we make commitments together. And that helps us prepare, knowing that in order to move the brain from survival or emotional mode, we want those kiddos to be in the closest to their executive state to really be able to retain information that we might be sharing. And then you'll see some photos here of some children using the safe place and the feelings buddies. The curriculum is really comprehensive and doesn't just end at 5 weeks. So we've been very blessed to be able to utilize that and to see the difference it makes for children in their own self-regulation. Another thing that we did regarding mindfulness to keep that going is we often will have some time for either yoga or relaxation activities before rest time for children. And that has really been able to help us sort of teach children how to calm themselves in their internal state and to really listen to what their bodies need. So now that we've talked about the staff and the children, I'm going to pass it over to Amanda, and she's going to share a little about how we supported our families' well-being this year.
Thanks, Tammy. So this year was the rollout of our family curriculum, which is provided by Conscious Discipline. And we did 6 family nights where we invited parents or caregivers to come and really learn some of the strategies that their children are already practicing in the school or childcare setting. So the big selling point to this is that parents aren't having to reinvent the wheel, but we oftentimes hear parents want new strategies and new skills. They want to raise their children differently than they were raised or different than how they saw children raised. And Conscious Discipline really offered them that opportunity. And the best part about this is that the children are already doing it. So oftentimes, by the time that the family is learning from us how to use these skills and powers, the child's already done it in the classroom. So when the family comes home and they want to learn the wish well board, their child can probably teach them the song. Even in our infant toddler rooms, they're singing it, they're wishing others well, and it really is a wonderful experience. And it really bridges that homeschool connection. So with those family nights, we would send out flyers that you can see here. We had door prizes for people that participated, and we were also able to send home activities to really engage both parent and child in the event. And then to follow up with that, we recognized that, it's been a hard year for people to meet in person. So we did it over Zoom and recorded it. Then we would share that recording on our Conscious Discipline Facebook page for parents, which we now have over 170 followers. This is a great place for parents to review the video for the first time, or maybe even an additional time if they want a refresher. And they also are able to share their different successes. They're able to show what their families are doing in their homes, and really just an opportunity to engage and build off each other and build a sense of community as an agency beyond Educare's walls to work with our community partners. And here you'll see, these are some of the photos that families have submitted on that Facebook page. These are activities of children doing breathing activities, making the star wands of one safe place, another has a sensory bottle. And then you also see this bag full of little goodies. This was something we were very excited about. We were able to provide every family in our agency, including all of our Educare families, with a calm down kit and a make and take of a sensory bottle. So every family was able to get this, and it offered them strategies such as breathing techniques, some connection songs, different fidgets, or ways just to help engage the child or family to really find that inner calm and get to their executive state. And then coming next, we have a Devereaux Center of Resilience family night for Build Your Bounce for families to help with resiliency and continue that education for families on parenting techniques and ability to really connect their whole family together. And I'm going to pass it back off to Tammy.
Great, thanks, Amanda. So obviously the impact and outcome of all this planning is that we understand that every time we impact one group, it impacts the next, right? So it's definitely cyclical in nature, and healthy staff, children, and families are really what we're aiming for. And we want children and families to be able to leave our program and enter into public school settings and the community with some great tools on how to be able to function as a good citizen. So what does it look like to have this actually occur for successful implementation? So, the beauty of having the hardships of COVID is that it really helped us think outside the box a little bit as a leadership team. And here are some of the things that we have done to make sure, and some of the considerations that it took to sort of keep on track with where we were hoping to go with the intended outcome. So obviously we want to create a culture of we, which means we're all in it together. So you heard Amanda talk a little bit about the bag that we sent home, which that reached a total of 501 families, which is incredible. We're very proud of that. That took a big team work approach and very unifying for leaders and other people in our program to come together and to be able to help put those together for families and knowing that we would impact. There definitely has to be a strong organizational foundation. So for us here, that starts with our leaders in our Child and Family Services program and also with our director here at Educare. And then collaborative and unified. That could be really challenging in the times that we've had in the past couple of years. So our intentional planning and prep, like you'll see next, and our reflective practice was critical. And I know most people attending have probably had some form of touch points or have heard about it. That definitely pairs nicely with all the conscious discipline work that we've been doing and has really supported us to recognize what we're bringing to interactions. And then how do we filter through that to support staff, children, and their families. And through reflection, we had an awareness of the needs that were there. And then, of course, we're considering the very little supports because we know that everyone's in a different space with what they can receive and what they can give and offer to others. And then conscious discipline and mindfulness as a shared language has been one of the greatest unifiers that we've had because we're all aiming for the same goal. And so that has provided us with language so that we understand one another. And to be honest, when we have mismatches, it's much easier to repair because we do have that shared language for further understanding. So in closing, I would like to share with you a quote that is very meaningful to me about leadership and the importance of that. So Simon Sinek is very well known as for his leadership books that he's written. And his quote says, leadership is not about being in charge, but leadership is about taking care of those in your charge. So here at Educare Central Maine, we really believe that it's our responsibility as leaders to maintain a pulse on the well-being of those around us, including ourselves, and to be intentional in our efforts to maintain a healthy work environment where people want to be here and to still move forward even in the hardest of times. And this has really strengthened our team in a unifying way and helped keep everyone's pitchers full so that we can then help fill others up. And Amanda and I really want to thank you again for participating. It's been a pleasure to present some of the successes that we've had and the reasons why. And again, as I started with, we really hope that you are able to have some takeaways, maybe find a little inspiration of things that you can use for yourself and your programs. And we definitely wish you well. And thank you so much.
Thank you.